Brian Hagan from Your HealthySteps. And, as I've been working more on the computer, I've spent a lot more time sitting. What I noticed is if I don't have a timer set up to remind me to get back into good posture, I tend to get in bad posture. And I think a lot of people do that. When they're on the computer, or they're on their tablets or on their phone, they tend to go right into bad posture without even thinking about it because they're focused on what is in front of them. And when we do that, this muscle we're going to talk about today can create some pretty significant pain. And that was what was happening to me. I was getting a little bit of radiating pain down into my elbow, and I thought, well, that was interesting. I was trying to figure out what was going on with my elbow. And then it was in my wrist a little bit, and then it was in my shoulder. And I thought, well, that's interesting. So I went to our trigger point chart and our Travel trigger point chart. And what I found was this muscle. And so I thought, well, okay, fantastic. That's what we're going to talk about today. And this muscle is called serratus posterior superior. Okay? All right. Now, before we get started, I just want to let you know, if you like what you're seeing here, definitely give us likes. We'd love to hear your comments. We do online consultations. We do online in-services. So if that's something that you'd be interested in, we certainly would love to do that with you. If you know of companies that are looking for in-services, we teach Purposeful Foam Rolling. We teach basic anatomy, and we help people learn how to do self-care on their body so that they can continue to do the things that they love to do and continue to do the work that they love to do without being in pain. All right, so without any further ado, we're going to go right into this muscle. So serratus posterior superior, pretty long name. There are actually three muscles of the serratus. There's one in the front, and then there's two in the back. And the one that we're going to be talking about is up higher on the back, up by the shoulders and the neck. Okay, so where is this muscle located at? Serratus posterior superior is right up here. It's actually where the neck and the shoulders come together. So it's really the last two vertebrae of the neck and the first two vertebrae of the upper back. That's where the muscle starts at, and then it comes downward and outward to where your shoulder blade begins, the very top of your shoulder blade, and then about 1.5 inches down from there, and it kind of goes up underneath the shoulder blade, but it attaches to the ribs. It's going to be ribs, the second to the fifth rib, where it attaches at. And how do we find that on ourselves? Well, take your hand and put it on the back of your neck so that your fingers are right on the spine of your neck, and just run down a little ways until you find this one point on your vertebrae that's sort of sticking out. It's actually a vertebrae sticking out of your spine, and this is the last vertebrae. It's actually where the neck and the shoulders the neck ends and the shoulders begin. And from that point, you're just going to come up a little bit, and you're going to find another bump, much smaller, just above it. That's where this muscle begins at. That's the C6. The big bump is C7. And then if you go past that, you're going to find a couple bigger bumps, but not quite as big as that middle one. Those are your T1 and 2 right there. And that's basically where this muscle starts. So it's just a really easy point to find is that big bump there. And then just take your finger either one to the left or to the right, because the muscle is on both sides. Either way you go, this is basically, if you put the 4 fingers there, that's where these muscles are at. Now run your hand down toward your shoulder blade until you find that big, it's sort of like the very top portion of your shoulder blade. You feel this sort of bone kind of sticking out. That's part of your shoulder blade. That's where this muscle is going to attach at. And if you just run your fingers down a little ways and up a little ways, kind of above that bump, that high end, and down a little ways, about 1.5 inches, that's really where this muscle is coming into. So you pretty much have your hand on the whole muscle right there. So what does this muscle do? Well, this muscle is really important in our breathing. It actually helps us bring air into the lungs, or inspiration. It brings, make sure I got that correct here. Inspiration, breathing in. And what it's doing is it's elevating the ribs. It's pulling the ribs up so that we can breathe in. So it's a really important muscle. But if you think about this, when we are in bad posture, when we're all leaning forward and in bad posture, this muscle is going to be out of place. It's going to be putting a great deal of stress on those ribs. And when that happens and we breathe in, it's not pulling the ribs well in the right direction because it's not in the right place. So again, this muscle is what we call a postural muscle. It's affected by our posture. So the worse our posture is, the more upset and angry this muscle is going to be. Okay. So what happens when this muscle gets angry? Well, a lot, a lot. What's interesting is this muscle has two trigger points. One you can actually touch or work on, and one is underneath the shoulder blade itself, basically where the muscle is attaching into the ribs. So if you see with Mr. Manny here, these two black dots there, that's basically the trigger points. And then the red is the pain patterns that this muscle can develop. So primarily, the muscle pain pattern is going to be in the shoulders, the upper arm, the elbow, and the wrist. And I'll show you all that here in a minute. So that's its primary pain, but really it's a deep aching pain. And a lot of times if you're reaching out in front of you, that pain is increased. And if you are I'm sorry, I just had a complete meltdown in my brain. Laying on your side, sorry about that. When you're laying on your side, so when you lay down on the bed, you're going to go to sleep and you're a side sleeper and you get that deep aching pain right between the shoulder blades, this is probably this muscle that's causing it. Okay, so let's take a look at the pain patterns here. Okay, again, it's primarily right in the spot where that very top part of your shoulder blade is. Right up here on Mr. Manny. You can get a lot of aching pain right in there. Right on the back part of your upper arm, what are called the posterior deltoids, right here. And then let's see if we can get Mr. Manny up a little bit here. And we can see the elbow, the back of your elbow is another big time area that you can get a lot of pain. And then right in the wrist, let's see if I can come up. Right here on your wrist, you're going to have pain. That's the primary areas, but you can get pain anywhere along the back of the tricep muscle, so the back of your upper arm, the back of your forearm, the back of the wrist, the back of the hand, and into the back of the pinky. Okay, so that's another areas that the pain will radiate to, is to the pinky, the back of the hand, the back of the wrist, the back of the forearms. Not as common, but you'll get pain in the chest. You can get pain right in this area of the chest muscle. And let's see if we can get Mr. Manny up here and bring that arm forward a little bit. You can get pain right almost in the armpit, right where the armpit and the deltoids come together, right in here. And then the front of the forearm, front of your hand, and again, the front of your pinky. So that's not the main area that this muscle will send pain to, but you can get pain there. So again, the primary was the back of the shoulders, the back of the deltoids, tricep muscle, back of the elbow. But again, you can get pain in the front here, the front of the forearms, the front of the chest, and right up here where the deltoid and the armpit. So right in there, okay? That's a fairly significant area of pain that these two trigger points can get to. Now, what's interesting, let's turn Mr. Manny back around here, is those two trigger points. One, you're going to be able to work on, and I'm going to show you how to do that here, but the other one is deep underneath that shoulder blade. So again, we're going to have to, I'm going to show you how to work that a little bit to see if we can help loosen that trigger point up, because it's underneath the shoulder blade, so it's difficult to get to or almost impossible to get to. So I'll show you how you can try to help get that thing to release. You might have to get somebody in there, like a physical therapist or a massage therapist that's trained in rehabilitative massage, to be able to get in there and work on that. Okay? All right. So I like, and I think works really, really well along with foam rolling or using foam balls or myofascial balls, that type of stuff, is warm the area up first. If you know you've been in bad posture for a while, take a nice moist heat pack, lay it on your shoulders. Get this area to warm up and to loosen up a little bit. I mean, if you've been all up like this and typing away like that, you've got to relax this thing. That's the first thing you've got to do, is get it to relax. So get yourself in good posture, put a nice heat pack on there, and then you can either continue working, or if it's really bad, let that heat go lay down, let that heat sit in there and really relax it a little bit. Then get out either your tennis balls or your myofascial balls, okay? So I'm going to bring this up a little bit so I can show you. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to be putting this tennis ball right in that spot, right where the top of my shoulder blade is, right between where that big bump on the neck and that top spot right there. And I'm going to place it right there. I'm going to move my body out a little ways. Now what I want to do, if this is really tender, I'm going to back off a little bit because it can be, and I'm going to just sink my body into it nice and gently, nice and easily. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to inhale. Hold. And relax. Do that 3 or 4 times. Breathe in. Because when we are breathing in, this muscle is engaging. If we're pushing this tennis ball in there, then we're going to help that thing relax a little bit. We're going to break up those trigger points in there. So again, doing that 2 or 3 times. Move the tennis balls around. Find some places that are pretty achy, especially right around the shoulder blade edge. That can be really tender. Then you can actually put the tennis balls in here and raise your shoulder blades up and down, up and down, just like that. And then combine the two. Inhale, bring the shoulder blades up. Exhale, bring the shoulder blades down. So those are all good combinations that you can do. And then when you are done with the tennis balls, work on keeping your shoulder blades down. So you can actually even kind of extend, force those shoulder blades down a little bit, and then try to inhale. And what's going to happen is the shoulder blades are pulling down, so the posterior, the other serratus muscle, which pulls the shoulder blade, the ribs down, sorry, that are pulling the ribs down, they're pulling the ribs down when you come down, and then when you inhale, the muscle's trying to engage. So you're working it a little bit. But after you've beaten it up, you're going to be able to work that muscle a little bit, kind of stretch it a little bit, and it's going to help that muscle relax. So heating, getting in there with some tennis balls and breaking up those trigger points, and then exercising the muscle. So again, forcing the shoulders down, and then breathing in, and exhaling. So we're forcing the muscles to be kind of in a stretched position, and then we're going to breathe in and out, which makes the muscles try to work. It's a great way to help just get that muscle to relax a little bit after it's been kind of warmed up and kind of broken up with the tennis balls. Okay? All right. Again, I hope this is helpful. And if you are very interested in what we're doing here, please send us comments, give us a like. If you are wanting to ask certain questions, go right ahead, and we'll take a look and see what kind of muscle might be involved with it. All right? Have a great day and take care.